These two men are U.S. citizens, Kenneth Bay and Matthew Todd Miller. Bay had been held for 2 years, was convicted of hostile acts against the DPRK government, sentenced to 15 years of hard labor, though little is known about the case, what led to his arrest. Miller apparently showed up at an airport in Pyongyang, tore up his tourist visa, and asked for asylum there. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison, also for committing hostile acts against the DPRK. Just last month, a third American, Jeffrey Fowle, was also released after being arrested for leaving a Bible in a nightclub. There are now no more Americans being held in the DPRK that we know of, Susan. This was clearly a well-orchestrated affair, but it happened mostly in the background. Clearly, a lot of diplomacy going on behind the scenes. The U.S. has worked through international partners, including the Swedes, to gain the release of these men. In brief media interviews about a month ago, the men said it would take the intervention of a high-ranking U.S. official to ensure their release. U.S. President Barack Obama gave that task to James Clapper. He's the U.S. Director of National Intelligence. He flew to Pyongyang and is currently flying back to the U.S. We don't have details exactly when they will arrive back here. In a statement, the DNI's office said, "We can confirm that U.S. citizens Kenneth Bay and Matthew Todd Miller have been allowed to depart the DPRK and are on their way home, accompanied by DNI Clapper to rejoin their families. We welcome the DPRK's decision to release both Mr. Bay and Mr. Miller." And early Saturday, President Obama spoke about the release of the Americans.
Well, I think it's a wonderful day for them and their families. Obviously, we're very grateful for their safe return, and I appreciate Director Clapper doing a great job on what was obviously a challenging mission.
U.S. officials are insisting that there was no larger deal at play here, no quid pro quo, no expectations of the U.S. in return for the release of these Americans. Unclear whether this signals a larger warming of relations between the DPRK and the United States and whether this might have impact on ongoing negotiations over their nuclear programs.